Hello, how are you?
Hey, hello.
Great to see you
Fine.
again.
Great to see you too.
So, how's life been unfolding for you?
Really well, really nice.
That's beautiful.
So, yeah, yeah.
That's
Looking at
great.
the external stuff, we've had sunshine for almost a whole week for the first time in 3 or 4 months, I think.
Wow. You're in
So that is
Amsterdam,
quite
right?
nice. Yes,
Amsterdam?
close to Amsterdam. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm going to be
yeah.
going there. When am I going there? July 2nd, I'll be there for a little bit.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Come to check out
Perfect timing.
Amsterdam. See what it's all about. Stay here. I hear summertime, it's nice there.
Yes, absolutely. It's
Great.
magical in summer.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, yeah. The canals and everything.
Yeah, I think the hotel I'm staying at's right on the one of those canals over there.
Okay, great.
Then I'm getting on a cruise ship, Celebrity, and then we're hitting all the different islands like Berlin, Germany, Estonia,
Mm.
like all those. And then I actually have people meeting me on the cruise ship to talk about self-realization, which is kind of cool
Oh,
to
wow.
incorporate all that. But it's been kind of a fun journey.
Great. That's a nice combination.
Yeah, right. Effortless
Wow.
being, just I talk about what I love talking about effortless being, and I love embodying it, of course, and just being it and helping people with it and helping people get clarity. I'm getting good feedback, even like on the call you and I had,
Mhm.
um, good response from people. A lot of them saying they've been uplifted, they've gotten some clarity from it, which is great. So
That's
that's why I wanted
beautiful.
to, yeah, that's why I wanted to talk with you again because it was such a good response.
Yeah, yeah. I'm all for that. So nice to hear it. And I
Yeah.
also got some messages actually through my website because
Oh,
people saw the video
yeah.
and they reached out and wanted to know more. And it's always nice to read what it does,
Yeah.
that it has such a beautiful, such a good impact.
That's great.
It resonates.
It's definitely resonating with people. Is there anything in particular people were asking for? Any subjects or topics that came up?
Mainly invitations, falling back. The big
That's a good.
one is, you haven't realized it yet. You think you have, but you haven't.
Mhm.
Those or difficult relatives. That's also a common one. I think I'm self-realized. Everything feels great unless this person shows up again, or I have to deal with them, and then I'm pulled back into the person. That's also a very,
Yeah, that is something
very
too. I've
common
been
one.
Yeah, I've been hearing that with people too. Like it's almost like that attachment, it's like I always say, if somebody called me up on the phone and said, Rob, I hate your guts, like, and they're a stranger, like it has no impact on me. There's no emotional response or anything. I'm like, okay, and I just go
Yeah,
about my day and have fun, you know.
exactly.
But when it's a family
Yeah.
members, now we've been
Hmm.
conditioned and attached, in our roles as dad with his daughter or dad
Yeah.
or husband with the wife or stuff like that. Or like you said, your cousins or people getting together on holidays or whatever it is.
Hmm.
Now you're attached, right? Because we've had that conditioning for so many years. We're attached to it. It's almost
Yeah.
like when you realize your true nature, yes, you see through it that, I'm not this separate person. It's just a role. I've always remained as the impersonal, infinite being the whole time.
Hmm.
But yet we're playing these roles. We're still having the human experience, right? So that's still
Yeah.
going on. It's just that we get attached to those relationships. And one of the things that we can talk about is
Hmm.
integration. So,
Yeah.
once you realize your true nature, now how do you integrate that into everyday life, such as, with relationships? So that might be a good place to start.
Yeah.
What comes?
Definitely.
Yeah. So maybe you can say something about that.
Yes. Let's see what comes
Yeah.
up. It's always nice for me as well because I have no idea what will be
Yeah.
said.
I don't either. That's why it just naturally flows through. I just try to get out of the way and just let whatever effortless
Yes.
being wants to come through,
Exactly.
whatever
Yeah.
ease comes through in this space of consciousness, this unity
Yeah.
consciousness that just sits here, and it
And
just
thank
kind
you
of just
for opening this channel because if you wouldn't do this, if you wouldn't ask these questions, this
yeah.
conversation wouldn't happen. So this is really beautiful.
Yeah, it is beautiful, and
Yeah.
it's not really me doing it. It just kind of naturally, effortlessly, just arose this way, and
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
just been flowing. I have no idea like how this is all happening. It's fun though. I just
Nice to be
follow.
a vessel.
Yeah, and that kind of goes to integration in a way too, because it's just kind of like what's helpful is just knowing what your true nature is when you know it's effortless being. So then if you know that's your true nature, just follow what feels easy, what feels effortless. And
Mm,
you know, if there's striving or hard work or stress or anxiety, that's not your true nature. So then it's time to just step back, you know, and
correct.
just follow what flows. You know what I mean? Just be present with what is. And I think where the suffering comes in for a lot of people is when they resist what is, you know. So just learning to accept people for how they are when it comes to relationships, it's a matter of just acceptance, you know, accepting them, not expecting them to be something different than what the mind, because the mind will come in and say, oh, they need to be a certain way. But when you see
Mm,
through it, that's just the mind saying it. It's just the thought saying it. You don't have to believe those thoughts.
no,
You can
no.
you can let them go because they're really not, those kind of thoughts are not in alignment with your true nature. And you can tell because if, like we talked before, if you're feeling constricted,
Hmm.
you know, then those thoughts are not from your true nature. But if it's feeling expansive, ease, effortless, now that's from your true nature. So when it comes to you know, relationships with people, it's just it kind of changes when you're integrating it from so maybe before, because I just think about my own relationships with even with my kids and stuff like that. It was more like I
Hmm.
was trying to control what they were trying to do, and I had an expectation of how it should
Yeah,
be. It's almost like you let go of that control and that attachment, realizing it's their life just flowing through. Their life flowing
exactly.
through.
Yeah.
They're not mine. They're not my, you know, we say they're my children. I can control them and do whatever. But
Mm,
um, true love abounds in freedom, in true freedom. That's where the true love abounds. And so with that in mind, you know, aligning with your true nature, it's more about allowing it and not resisting it and just being the space for it,
mm,
being that allowing space for it without judgment, judgment free.
yeah.
No judgments involved. It's like just letting it be, just being with what is without resisting it and without the expectations and the attachment. I would say the attachment's the thing is where I see people getting tripped up.
Yeah.
And you know, it's just because of our conditioning. But after we realize our true nature, yeah, there's you know, some calls I have, they're like, well, awakening is just the beginning, Rob. You know, it's just the beginning. And a lot of it, sometimes people are, you know, maybe mentally they get it. Oh yeah, I know I'm the infinite being having a human experience, or even people say like, you know, I know that I'm not the body, but as soon as the body gets sick, okay, now do I still believe I'm not the body? Like,
Yes.
so you have like the mental understanding of it, but do you
Yeah,
have
yeah, yeah,
the embodied, you know,
yeah,
experience of it, the experience of actually, you know, this is real now. It's like, you know, so there's that, you know, that I've been talking with people, but a lot of it is the giving, you know, seeing through it first of all, you know, and
yes.
then embodying and integrating it and, you know, just letting go, I would say. There's like a letting go of the attachments and the control. And then if you're going to let go of something, you know, then you have to trust that effortless being or the infinite being is taking care of everything. Because people aren't just going to just let go unless they know, you know, what they truly are and they trust that life takes care of life.
Yeah,
So that's what I've kind of found. How about you?
yeah. Well, in terms of integration, less is more again, I
Hmm.
have found. Because the way we are conditioned anyway is to do and to put effort in things and to control, to make sure things happen a certain way. And even the letting go, if you're honest, is being controlled. That's
Hmm.
most of the times, right? It's
Right.
yes, I will let go, but and I want this, this, and this in return. I want peace. I want to feel like awareness. I want to not be disturbed by the mind, etc.
Hmm.
So it's always the question: is it really letting go, or is it conditional? So the only thing for now that I've heard myself advise is the only thing to do is indeed what you were mentioning, just notice contraction and expansion and try to not do anything else. Just those two. If you notice contraction, just realize, okay, the focus, the attention is going to the mind temporarily, it will pass again. And I heard a really nice metaphor or analogy last week. You could treat it like a buffet, you know, where you have all kinds of dishes.
Hmm.
And it's just as dispassionately as seeing a salad that you will not take because you don't feel like salad. You just pass and you take you take the next dish. Because very often people also maybe confuse the declining of invitations with I need to forcefully say no. Shit, there's an invitation. It will bring me out of peace. And there's some sort of resistance to it.
Right.
But to really see it like just a dish that is there and you may take it or you may just ignore it, there's no there's no feeling, there's no grasping, no rejecting. It's just
So it's kind of like more like a gentle declining. It's like when you're on the
yeah,
buffet and maybe you see Brussels sprouts and you don't like Brussels
yeah,
sprouts. It's
yeah.
not like it's like, you see it and there's kind of like an automatic knowing, well, that's just not for me, not my thing. It's not, oh, I hate those
No,
Brussels sprouts. They're
exactly.
disgusting. They're gonna make me
Yeah,
feel great. And
yeah.
you now you
All the
start giving it
feelings,
attention
images.
and you're getting
Yeah,
involved with it.
yeah,
It's like a
yeah,
gentle declining of it. And that's another thing. Yeah, I've
exactly.
had some calls with people and they say, some of them feel that, like, when you're declining invitations, are we saying that that we're not allowing the negative, what the mind calls
Mm-hmm.
negative emotions, to come in? And that's not what we're saying. We're saying declining invitations. If a feeling of depression or sadness comes through this space of beingness, this consciousness that I am, you be with it. You can still be with it without being attached to it. And you can still be with something, without personalizing it, saying this applies to me. And that's why I like how David does like the impersonal language. Like,
Mm-hmm.
there's impersonal awareness of this feeling of depression here. So when you do it that way,
Yeah,
it's you're not personalizing it. It's
no,
just it's just an emotion that you're being with. So, you welcome everything. Everything's allowed. It can all come. Let it all come. Depression,
yeah,
sadness, happiness,
yeah,
joy, and the mind wants to like label them all, but it's just we're just this infinite being, and it's just like that wave that's on the ocean that's coming up, going down, and they all come up. They come up and then they collapse. Did you notice that? Like the emotions, they come and then they drop off automatically. It's only when we
always.
start resisting what is. Oh, I don't want this depression. I don't want
Yeah,
this
yeah,
sadness, and you start resisting. Now it's holding it in place, and then the suffering happens. Whereas if you would just allow everything and just be with what is without the resistance, it just automatically flows through and life takes care of life. And you just
yeah,
don't personalize it. It's almost like you're
no,
aware of it. You get out of the personalization of it because it's impersonal. So it's just like the identity. You're not identified with being the depression or the sadness, but rather you're the space and you're aware of it. So it's there's space that opens up.
exactly. It's like a soft, choiceless awareness,
Mhm.
and it's not an exercise. It's not somewhere you need to get or something you need to do in order to reach it. What has worked for me is to look if there's a thought of, is it still there? Did I lose it? Is something going on? Um, just look where it is already like that, and it's always there.
Yeah, it's
It's
like it's
always
like the
there.
mind comes in later. Like everything's happening automatically, but then the mind comes in later. It makes a comment about it and tries to make like a story about it, but it's already happened. So,
Yeah,
and it's
exactly.
everything's registering automatically in awareness. There's nothing to do. It's just automatically
No,
happening, effortless. So, I mean, it's like insanity just to argue with what is, and that's what the mind is doing. It's arguing with what is, making a
yeah,
story out of it, trying to resist it. Whereas
exactly.
effortless being is just you're just effortlessly allowing everything to arise, and it's doing it anyway, whether the mind's telling you it's not. Everything's happening anyway. Everything is arising effortlessly. All the images, the emotions, the
Yeah,
feelings, the thoughts, it's just all happening effortlessly and equally. They're equally coming up. There's no one better than the other. It's just all just one coming up.
yes, exactly. And this is all happening in the essence, right? Not in the relative reality of the person, but this is really the essence you're speaking from, right?
Yes.
And when you're speaking from the essence, and you see the invitations from there, um, you see the point, which is always here anyway, at which it doesn't matter what happens. You really don't mind what happens. And the paradox and the universal gift, I have to call it, is that then the external so-called apparent life gets better.
Yeah, it just seems to
It's
just
like a
do it
miracle.
automatically. Yeah, when you're
Yeah,
when you're not
yeah,
resisting it, effortless being just takes care of everything, and it
Yes,
comes turns out to be better anyway.
exactly. And those are the things. If I look at my personality of the person Romy, it's
Yeah.
also a skeptic, intellectual thinker. I like to, do a bit of philosophy to understand things, to analyze things. So therefore, you could also easily get thoughts like, isn't non-duality or Advaita Vedanta just another religion, just another set of beliefs, out of which we are so many on this planet? And those things that we just described, when they happen in the apparent life, are like a proof. They can even satisfy that sort of doubtful mind that's popping up once in a while, because these things are literally happening in the so-called real world, or from being from essence in the apparent world. And those moments, if you talk about integration, I've had more than once, where there's this realization of this is this is working. This is
Mhm.
actually real. Like, if you know what I mean,
Yeah.
you're always aware of the impersonal awareness that has been there, that has never left. But even the thoughts that come and pop up once in a while, that starts to, you know, put a bit of doubt somewhere. I think that's what many people have experienced. It really helps to have those moments once in a while where you see something happens in here. I'm just shifting focus from the person, from thoughts, from the invitations to what's already always here, always at peace, alive, alert, unharmed, happy to be. And once you shift from there, you need nothing. Everything is perfect. You're back there. And it could stop there, but it doesn't, because automatically the entire outside world reflects that state. Even your relatives that can be annoying, or your colleagues, your whatever else. And that keeps amazing me, how that is just like a universal law. This always
It's
works.
almost like a mirror, like you have, like you
Yeah.
said, the essence. It's just like a gentle shift, like in
Yes. Yeah.
percentage. It's really
Yeah.
gentle. It's just
Yeah.
because you're always remaining right here, peaceful, like the perfume of peace. The essence of what we are is
Yeah.
impersonal peace that's just sitting here. And
Exactly.
and when you're marinating in that, when you're resting or whatever you want to say,
Yeah. Yeah.
like you said, it's like a mirror. Then the outside
Yeah.
world, or the relatives, or whatever you want to say, kind of reflect that reflection comes back to you in that piece.
Exactly. And what an amazing design is this?
Mm,
If you think about it, it's unbelievable. This well-being, this piece is just built in.
mm.
All you have to do is just remember who you are, what you are. Look right, as I call it, and I don't mean right inside, I mean correctly. Like,
Like right,
look right, and
yeah,
poof, it's back.
right here, yeah,
Satchitananda, there it is.
yeah,
And then everything else shifts into place. And where you're at the space where you don't need anything, you get even anything.
yeah. Because
You
think
don't
about it.
need
If
anymore.
you're feeling whole and complete,
Yeah.
that's what's going to mirror back to you.
Yeah.
That
Well,
wholeness, complete feeling,
yeah.
and
Yeah.
those experiences come back. And like you said, it's just right. It's always right here. So I mean, it's almost like I like that analogy that we talked about before. How it's like a movie, and you're an
Mm-hmm.
actor, and the actor plays all the different roles in this movie that's here. But
Yeah.
the actors never get hurt by any of the roles that it's
No.
playing in this movie.
And
It
you
does
can
this
always
role.
check that. You can always check if it's true or not. Any moment of the day, night, whatever, you check it.
Yeah,
That's
because then
also
it
a
goes.
good one.
Yeah, because then it goes back to your direct experience, right? And we
Yes.
could talk about it, but embodying it with your direct experience and seeing that for
Yeah.
yourself. So anyone listening to us can do that. They can check for
Correct.
themselves when they see the
Yeah.
movie going on. You can literally pause your thoughts
Yeah.
and then just step back, fall
Yeah.
back into your beingness, and you can observe the things that are happening, even the roles that you're playing. You almost could watch it. Like I see sometimes I could just see our two voices here speaking. It looks like, that I'm here and you're there. There's two voices there, but really it's just the voices that are appearing in this unity space of beingness. It's all, and
Yeah.
the voices are just speaking through it, but we're always remaining as the permanent space. So there's unity here. It's not that I'm here and you're there. It's all one, but then the sounds, it's just like two sounds coming out that are coming up and then
Yeah.
falling down. It's just how it's
Exactly.
being experienced.
Yes. Exactly. Yeah. And I'm just gonna say what comes up and just interrupt or feel if anything
Yeah.
arises. Talking about my own integration, the first couple of months, really 6, 7, 8 months after the realization, and then also after the talk I had with David,
Yeah.
it was really like a honeymoon. Just fantastic, no
Great.
problems whatsoever, etc. Then after a couple of months, the few invitations came back. The thoughts of was it real, was it unreal? It didn't really go into the core, never to the essence, but there was a shift in experience.
Hmm.
First, the experience was just all rose petals and beautiful. And
Hmm.
the thought came once in a while, like, this is too good to be true. And then at some point, this sort of ends, and there's a sort of different experience temporarily, which then also changes again into something else. And there, I would really advise people who are in that situation to just wait and see. This too will pass. Just let it happen. Don't cling to it, or don't, start to get something back from the past, or be afraid that you lost it, because that's not the case. Um, and it's a bit like bad weather sometimes, like a thunderstorm that's just passing through, which can also be really exciting. Just noticing the sounds, the color of the sky,
Yeah.
noticing the wind on your skin in a sort of metaphorical way. This is the same with invitations or yeah, negative thoughts, stressful thoughts that can come in. Um, and I noticed a sort of shift again lately, since that didn't do anything anymore. I didn't believe it. I didn't, if there was a thought, for example, what good does self-realization do if you're still suffering? Because maybe there were invitations coming in from the outside world or from the internal thoughts. That's a big one also. That's a nice one I noticed.
The suffering.
What
Yeah.
good does it do if you're still suffering? Wow. And then if you really believe it, you may be returning so-called back into identification.
Right.
But since you're not accepting the invitation, you just see it, you let it pass.
Hmm.
I can truly, from own experience, confirm it gets weaker and it doesn't come back at one point, because there's just no point for it. It doesn't get any energy, any focus anymore.
Hmm.
And but it's really important, really, really important to realize it's not about the experience. If you measure or you gauge your enlightenment or your self-realization based upon the experience you're having, this is a sure pitfall.
Yeah.
This is
It's
really
not
a,
about
this is
the,
a
yeah,
trap.
we're still gonna have the experiences, like you said, and there'll be
Yeah,
experiences of suffering
yeah,
or what the mind wants to label negative experiences. And so don't think just because you're self-realized or,
yeah.
that you're not going to have, like experience
No,
negative, what the mind calls negative experiences. The difference is you're just not identified with it.
yes,
You know,
yeah,
you no longer are this separate person, Rob, suffering in the story. Now you're that which is aware of the story, the
yes.
impersonal. So it takes the personalization out of it. You're just not
Hmm.
personalizing it. You're witnessing it, so to speak, or you're observing it, from a distance, so to speak. It's almost like that's why I like the coaches, like how David does the coaches, because
Oh,
it's
yes.
almost like that's almost like how, the infinite being is peering through these different bodies, these kosher bodies. And but the infinite being is never hurt by anything when it's going into
No,
it. It's just
no,
experiencing it, but it's never hurt by it.
no.
Isn't there a
You can
peace in
check
knowing
it.
that?
Yeah,
It's such a
it's
peace in
exactly.
knowing.
Yeah. But really, I would say to people, if you hear this, check if this is true or not.
Yeah.
If it's an intellectual understanding, it really doesn't work. And then this
Mhm.
become worse. So really check, has this ever been harmed or hurt in any way? And you can even go back to the imagined future and just, think of situations that felt like the end of the world. Breaking a leg, it could be real physical harm.
Mhm.
But if you're really honest and you're really checking, has what you are ever been harmed? Has it changed? Did it become smaller, less alive, 30% present instead of 100%?
You're still present no matter what the experience is
Always,
doing.
always.
You're always the presence here, and the
Yeah,
presence didn't go away, but the experiences went away.
yes,
They come and
exactly.
they go. But so
Yeah,
is this presence that we are ever harmed by these negative experiences? It's still here. And like you said, you got to check. Direct experience is king.
yeah, yeah. Check it,
You
check
have
it,
to
check
see
it.
it for yourself. Because like you said, if you
Yeah,
don't, then it could get worse. you know,
Yeah.
but knowing
Yeah.
it for yourself, and that's easy for anyone to do. They could just pause right now and reflect on that and see
Yes.
it and watch it and
Yeah.
see, is this presence still here? Is it harmed, you know, by
Yeah.
the experience, by any of the experiences,
And exactly. Yeah.
you
And I
know?
have to say again because it's so magical, but the paradox really is once you see that, what you're just describing, that
Hmm.
even the physical ailments or emotional things, whatever else the body may have had or may have built up in the previous years, in my case, they also disappear. I
Right.
can't remember when I had a headache the last time. I used to have tense shoulders and neck, and it was always sort of stiff and kind of hurts, but you get used to it. It's gone.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because sometimes,
It's
like, if I'm
crystal
watching
clear.
like a movie where there's like, all this, like, these action movies where there's killings and all this like suffering going on, or, tornadoes, people dying, like all this stuff. Like, and then if you get involved with the characters in the movie, it's like you're physically in your body
Yes.
feeling the emotions of it. I can feel it in my body and I'm in it. And then, or even like a
Yeah.
scary movie, watching a scary movie, getting all scared. Oh my God, and then you snap back for a minute. You're like, wait a second, this is just a movie. But really, it does have that physical. You really do feel the physical effects of it. So I
Yes,
know
you
what you're
do.
saying. Once you rest back from watching the movie,
Yeah.
and you see it. Wait, I'm not in the movie. I'm watching the movie. It's like it takes out. Then your body automatically just poof, it just
Yeah.
relaxes. And
Yeah.
so any of that stress, because we all know, like stress and anxiety and feeling those negative emotions in the body over a prolonged time, that's what causes people to get sick and stuff. But now
Absolutely.
if
Yeah.
you're seeing through it and you're realizing what's going on, now when you're looking at those experiences, they're more playful, more light, more easy about it. And then as a result, the body, the constriction just kind of just opens
Yeah.
up, and then it can just flow naturally out, and the body can naturally heal itself just because you're letting
Good.
you're letting effortless being just flow through effortlessly. You're not like holding that tension or that constriction. The body is not meant to have that constriction and that stress, and it's meant to be,
Yeah.
free and relaxed, and then the body can just flow and
Correct.
naturally take care of itself.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I
Yeah.
know what you mean about that. It's true.
Yeah.
I can see that in my
Yeah.
own direct experience. That's why everybody just, take a look at the things that we're saying, test them out in your own
Yeah.
experience.
Yeah.
Because you're right. That intellectual, um, I don't know if you want to call it intellectual awakening versus experiential awakening. I don't know what terms you want to. The mind always likes to come in with these terms, but you know what I'm trying to point to, what I'm trying to
Yeah.
say.
Yeah. 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 And really important if people do this, check the body, check the emotions, etc.
Mhm.
From effortless being. Don't do it with an agenda. So if this is done in order to get rid of headache, get rid of tension, get rid of cramps or whatever else, it won't work.
And you know why
Just
that
want
won't
to
work?
make that
Because
disclaimer as well. It should not be used as a medicine or as a way to get somewhere.
of course
That,
not.
that's again the mind taking over. Yeah. No, I'm sure. I mean, of course, that's obvious to you. But can you
Yeah.
imagine if people hear this,
People listening,
this
yeah,
may
that's
be
true.
misunderstood. It
We got to
may be
think from that
misunderstood.
perspective too. Yeah.
It's, yeah. Yeah.
Because when you're identified, with being a separate person, I could see how you could do that, Now you because now you're already coming from the space that there's something wrong with me.
Yeah.
I'm sick or I'm incomplete, and now I have to fix this. Now you're already coming from a place of lack. Whereas
Exactly.
what you truly are is the infinite, pristine, infinite being. You're whole, you're complete. Um, you don't need anything. Everything is here. There's nothing to do. It's healthy. I mean, you can just check right now in your direct experience, and that's what I do is I just ask consciousness right now. This consciousness that we are, this pure consciousness, this beingness, this effortless being that we are, that we're pointing to. Can it get sick?
Yeah.
No, I mean it just comes automatic. And I do this with people on the calls, and they all give the same response. They're like, because when they stop and they check,
Yeah.
it's like your intuition knows because that's what you are. So you can't come back with any other answer. It's like, no, it can't get sick. It can't suffer.
Yeah.
It can't die. Can it die?
No.
Like you just add, there's this consciousness that we are. It's
Yeah.
impersonal, so it can't have any of those things. So when you're
No.
coming from that space, of completeness, there's nothing to want, there's nothing to change, there's nothing to fix, there's nothing to hold on to, there's nothing to control. You're the space where everything's happening. It's just
Mm-hmm.
when you know your place, what you know what you are, your identity is. It's almost like a case of mistaken identity, people identifying with being this separate person
Yeah.
with the problems and the suffering, and they're coming from that space, and then they're trying to fix it. They could use something we're saying here. The mind can come in and use what we're saying here, as a practice to to do something, to fix it or make something out of it. It's not what it's meant for.
No.
It's basically, it's all it really is all we're saying is just checking your own experience, check what we're saying, your direct experience, and see if what we're saying is true. Check.
Exactly.
And when I do this with people, I just say, okay, just pause right now, pause your thoughts. Let's take a look at this consciousness that's here, that we're saying that we are. This, what is it? What is this sense of existence that's here? What is this sense of existence? What does everyone know for sure? We know that we exist. I haven't met anybody who tell me, when I can say to somebody, stop being now. They can't, because they know they are the beingness. They're
Yeah.
this being. It's just beingness. And then
Yeah.
when you check this beingness, can it get sick? Everybody
Yeah.
check. Can it get sick? Can it suffer? Can it? I mean, I'm giving everybody an invitation to check for themselves. I mean, really stop and check for your own direct experience. Pause,
Yeah.
check it out, investigate it, see for yourself. And then you'll be amazed what's revealed to you.
Yeah. Yeah. And not a quick, oh yeah, I exist. Next.
Yeah, the mind
Not a
loves it,
quick,
right?
okay, I've seen that.
Can you marinate in
I
it? Can you
exist. I'm
can you
aware.
just pause for a minute and marinate in that and just
Yeah.
can you just rest and just
Yeah.
really take it in, really take it in, marinate for a
Yeah.
while in
And it is attributeless, that's true. But at the same time, I could also invite people to check out what the qualities are.
it. Mhm.
So yes, it's again a paradox. It is attributeless, that is true. It's impersonal being. And at the
Mhm.
same time, describe the qualities of it, which you can do when you look directly. Qualities such as what's your age?
It doesn't have an age. When was it?
Boundaries.
How about when was it born?
Yeah.
When's it going to
How
die?
does it feel? Yeah. Um, any problems? Give me your problems. Where are they? Just
Yeah. Show me your
where?
problems. Where problems?
Yeah.
But you know what's
It's
amazing is like when you don't realize that, when you haven't had that realization,
mm,
it's really real. I mean, it's like you're really feeling like the like if I was watching this and I didn't
yeah.
realize what was going on, like what
Mm,
really is happening in reality, I'd be looking at that frustrated, like, what do you mean? Like that, because you're really absorbed in it. It's like I was saying earlier with the watching the movie, like you're you're in it, you know what I mean?
yes.
And it's so real in your reality that you don't realize that, wait a second, the whole time I've just been sitting here watching it,
Yeah.
noticing it. I've been identifying with something that wasn't real.
Exactly. Even that is the perfect design of everything.
Hmm.
Even that one works perfectly.
Yeah.
It's almost built in. So if you believe certain things or you don't see awareness, etc. If you really identify with the person, you of course get that experience in the most perfect way as well. You
Hmm.
won't have 90% of it. You will have 100% of that experience. And why that is the case, I have no idea.
And it's okay
Probably
not to
because
know. That's
we
like,
watch horror movies or thrillers for entertainment, right?
yeah,
That's what we do as well.
yeah, we do like that, don't we? I mean, it's just the human race. You see all the money they make on horror movies. People like to feel those emotions.
Exactly, exactly.
Mm.
And it's a bit, looking from effortless being, from awareness, from what you really are. It's a bit like reversed Murphy's Law. So Murphy's Law is whatever can go wrong will go wrong, which is also sometimes the case, right? In,
Right.
in, in the experience of the person. But this one is when you think it can't get any better, it does.
Mm. That's
That is
beautiful.
also like a universal law.
Hmm.
This is a phrase of Byron Katie, which is so true. And it's also interesting to notice sometimes, especially I think in the West, we've been conditioned. Effort, work hard, you have to deserve something, you can't just get it. It doesn't
Right.
work like that. So that's quite deeply ingrained, I think, in
Yeah,
us,
many people, they're
right?
especially in the United States, a lot of them like working hard,
Yes.
like setting
Yeah.
goals, like you got to work day and night in order to
Yeah.
get money.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the mentality. What they don't realize is if you just relax as the effortless being, that can all come to you effortlessly. It's when you're putting up that resistance. I mean, it's like you're coming from a place of lack. If you think about it, what you're saying is that I don't have everything I need. I'm
Yes.
not whole. I'm not complete. So therefore, I need to do something. I have to work hard and strive and do all these things just to get money or just to make a living or whatever. Whereas the infinite being is whole and complete already. Those things are your natural birthright. Those things come effortlessly to you. Those opportunities will come to you effortlessly, whatever it is that you need, if you just stop resisting what is and you let go of that resistance or coming from that place of lack and rather come from that place of abundance because your true nature, your infinite being is abundant. It has
Yes.
everything. It is everything. And everything will just come, those opportunities, those synchronicities, if you want to say, those things will just flow through life. Let effortless being do it. It's only when we get in the way and we resist it, or we're trying to control the outcome. A lot of people are trying to control the
Mm-hmm.
outcomes. They're trying to say what life has to do. It has to be. You
Yeah.
know, life is going to do what life wants. Why not get in alignment with it? Get in alignment with life. Be allowing, let it be, what it is and be okay with what is.
Yeah.
Because really I mean, it's paradise on earth right now. It's heaven on
Yes.
earth is what's here right now. It's just the mind's telling you, or these thoughts are telling you that it's not, and you're believing those thoughts, and they're not true. If you just
Yes.
rest back and see what's the truth? What's the truth? You know, the truth is it's heaven on earth right here, right now,
Mm-hmm.
when you're coming from effortless being, when you realize what you
Correct.
truly are.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy. Like if somebody listened to it, it's like I got this bill, this thing, like because automatically they're going to the mind, they're going to being this, they're identified, they haven't seen through to see what
Mm-hmm.
they truly are. You are the infinite being. You are whole. You are complete. Yes, you're having this human experience.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay. Let all the experiences come. My role
Yeah.
isn't to control the experiences. Okay.
No.
What I am is allowing them all to come on life itself. Let it all
Yeah.
come. Come in love.
Exactly.
Love it all. Welcome
Yeah.
it all. It's
Yeah.
it's not affecting the true you.
No. And if you're talking about bills, if you're talking about, having a job, losing a job, finding a job, all these things,
Yeah.
right? I don't want to downplay those either. But
Hmm.
what I notice is, yes, being self-realized, it's for everything we just talked about. And
Right.
you still have the thoughts, like there is still this tool which you could call a mind. It
Hmm.
doesn't exist as a separate thing. Obviously, it's just, the thoughts passing through, but there
Right.
is probably the physical, neurological brain, all these things, memory, recognition, speaking, thinking, analyzing, this still works, right? You don't become stupid because you're self-realized. And what I've noticed is if I just put that to work,
Hmm.
that's even better. So rather than having the mind telling us what we are, who we are, what our problems are, which is the case
Hmm.
in most of humanity,
True.
what I did do is, you know what? You can make a grocery list. You can solve this thing at work. Maybe you can find out how to pay this bill.
Right.
Um, and the mind will run with it. It needs something to do. It
Right.
wants to solve things. So why not use it?
Yeah, go
Just
ahead.
use it and you can go back to
Yeah.
relax into
Go
the
back to
thing that never
relaxing.
moves. That is really something that I have noticed, especially with integration. After a couple of months, that happened. And since you don't waste energy on useless worries, concerns, thoughts, there is more energy that you could use physically, emotionally, but also mentally, like
Hmm.
intellectually. There is just more energy there. Meaning the mind, I'm just calling it for lack of a better word, the mind, the intellect, this tool that should be there as your servant to help
Hmm.
you navigate through life, works way better as well. It remembers things better. It's more efficient, more effective. Um,
Yeah. Now you
it's
have
it's
this
almost
more,
like a
this,
computer.
yeah.
Yeah.
So you have all this extra energy now, like, because you're
Yes.
not wasting it on these thoughts and these things. You're just giving it to the mind. Go ahead, go
Yeah.
solve the problem. And you're
Yeah.
sitting here relaxed with this abundance of energy. And some of the people I've been talking to on the calls that are self-realized, and they've been saying something about the nervous system and energy downloads or that they get. Or do you ever something about this? Have you experienced anything like that? Or
In the nervous system,
Mhm. Yeah.
well, just delightful
Yeah.
expansion. It's on all levels. That's again the koshas, I think. If you're
Hmm.
really coming from the fourth effortless being,
Right.
You do notice the effect it has on the mental, emotional, and physical level. It's almost instant.
Yeah, because like when something's off now, right? Like you're a little sharper with it. You could feel it
Yes,
like a lot quicker now.
yes,
Like with the past, you might not
absolutely.
notice it. Like now it's like, whoa, because you know what it's supposed to be feel like or what it's
Hmm.
supposed to know. Like it's supposed to be ease, peace, and then if you start feeling like that suffering or something come in. One of the speakers said, what do they do? They put like a time limit on it when they're out in the dualistic world. They really use it as an analogy. As soon as they start feeling the suffering or something, oh, time to come back.
Yeah,
Playtime's over or something like this.
yeah, yeah. Leave the sun again and go sit under the tree.
Yeah, I thought it was funny. That's
Yeah,
great.
no, that's how it is. I also heard that apparently my voice is calming and soothing or
Hmm.
something like that. So I think my voice changed as well, which I didn't notice at first. But now that I pay attention to it, I think it has changed a bit.
You
So there
do?
are certain things also physically that change that I'm seeing, that I'm observing.
That's
Yeah,
good.
yeah, that is good. And yeah, what else? It's a funny thing I had to think of. Uh, if any enlightened teachers that we all know that are on YouTube or no, they wrote books, etc., if they talk about their family, the only version I've ever heard is that their father or mother has no idea what they're talking about. Could be Eckhart Tolle, it could be Gangaji, it could be Rupert Spira, whoever. If they talk about their family, that this seems to be one of those given
Yeah,
things.
my
I
wife
don't know
has,
why.
yeah, my wife has no idea what I'm talking about either.
Yeah, the complete like
Actually,
totally.
I don't even think I know what I'm talking about. Let's be honest. It's just effortless
No,
being
that's true.
flowing. It's just flowing through. Like I don't know. I
That's true.
just don't overthink it. I'm just like, well,
Yeah,
this is the
yeah.
way it is. They just, but all
Yeah.
good things though, in a good way,
Hmm.
in a
Yeah.
light, way, easy way, Like
No, but
that's
this can
kind of
be a catch. It can be a little one. Like if it's the people closest to you and they either are antagonistic or they don't understand it, or yeah, in the best case, they maybe say, "Hey, this is your hobby. Good luck. Enjoy." But there can also be other responses, right? It can
yeah,
also
it could be.
be, you know, uh, and
How has it been for you? What kind of responses are you getting?
yeah, well, that's a very interesting one. So my father that I only met when I was 14 years old. So he's more like a big friend, big older friend of
Yeah.
mine, but he's my dad.
Uh-huh.
Um, and the experiences I used to have with him when I was 14, 15, 16 were like, he's a DJ, he's very artistic and just he doesn't really fit in the regular world, let's say.
Oh,
And he
fun.
did things like having picnic in the middle of the night. Then you see the moon and the stars, and he was a bit alternative in that sense of life,
Hmm.
very philosophical. He read all the books you can imagine, also really spiritual.
Mm.
So I really thought if anyone gets this, it's him
But
because
no,
he's open. He reads all these books. He loves me. He trusts me. He knows when I say something that
right,
is also, I'm not. I'm not someone that believes things easily. That's very gullible or naive. You
right,
know,
right.
I. So if I speak about something, if I'm really convinced about something, now I know that this sounds like a person talking, but looking at the koshas, yes, this is speaking from Rommy.
Yeah,
That's the experience I can really build upon and say this is how Rommy is.
yeah.
Not naive, not gullible, etc. So that was a big surprise when then he said, "Oh, this whole non-duality stuff. If this was really true, you would be speaking in the third person. You
Is
would
that what he
referring
said?
to yourself.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
that's great.
So yeah, it's partially ridiculing basic, yeah, non-duality as such, because in his mind, this is one of the 100 books he read and just put aside. It's one of those things, and then basically almost being afraid that I'm falling for some sort of sect or
Are you in a cult or something or
in a cult or something like that. So very clear, immediate response was from within was stop talking about it. Doesn't
oh,
matter.
shut you down?
Doesn't
Yeah.
matter.
But I
Change the
mean,
topic. Talk about other
yeah.
things. You love each other. It's completely clear. And looking from effortless being, and this might sound harsh from the personality's perspective, but from
Mhm.
effortless being, also this form that he takes is one of the 10,000 things that appears and disappears in your awareness, in what you are.
Right.
So looking from the koshas, looking from the personality, it's your dad. You want to have a good experience, a good relationship, and you can have it even more than before realization, right? Because you
Hmm.
can drop it. There's no fighting, no ego, no justifying, no explaining, no defending.
Well, you just
It doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter.
you love them just how they are. There's no
Exactly.
expectation. There's
Exactly.
no, you don't have that same
That's right.
attachment. It's
Yeah.
unconditional love. Accept them
Correct.
for how
Yeah.
they are, and
Yeah.
that's the response.
Yeah.
That's the response. It's
Yes.
there's nothing more
Yeah.
than that, and it's
Yeah.
okay. It's still
Indeed.
okay. It's fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
fine.
But it's just an experience
Yeah.
I can talk about because,
Yeah.
like David Bingham often also says, if you feel there's no resonance whatsoever, if you just go
Yeah.
through the world, work, whatever, wherever you are, you don't talk about it. You only help people that really come to you, that resonate, that ask questions. And that's also definitely what I'm doing. Therefore, also
Yeah.
almost nobody knows what this is. I really only talk about it when I'm approached, when people want to know more, when there's a resonance, a click,
Yeah.
and it can happen with anyone, anytime.
Right.
Also at work, you talk about something completely else, and all of a sudden you look into each other's eyes, something happens, and you talk about this, and the person gets it. So that can happen. Is there a little sort of disappointment that especially the ones closest to you don't see it? Yes. There's an experience of, no, why? This could be so nice.
Well, I
But
mean,
that's
it
it.
goes
It's
to,
just
yeah.
it's something you see. It's an experience.
Yeah, and not only that, but you can let your intuition be your guide. Your intuition will kind of let you know the right times to bring it up and to not bring it up. Even David, when he first realized his true nature, he wanted to go and tell everyone about it. Right?
Yeah,
Remember his
yeah, yeah,
experience
exactly.
with
Yeah, the tapes.
that radio show with John Wheeler, and
Yeah,
sent out all the tapes and did
yeah,
all that.
yeah,
But then what did he say? What was his realization? His realization was that you just make yourself available and you let effortless being
yeah, yeah.
bring it to you, and then you follow your intuition, like you kind of know, like if you're sensing people are, don't want it, you can tell by their
Oh
body
yes,
language, their
yeah,
energy, then you just,
yeah.
it's okay. And it's okay, it's just not the right time for them. It's okay where everybody's at right now is totally fine,
That's
because
right.
no one's being harmed by anything anyway. It's just
No,
the right time, it'll happen at the right time, for that
no,
particular
that's it.
person.
Yeah, but that took a
Yeah.
while. I would say my
Yeah,
experience
I know.
after
I'm speaking
realization.
like this now,
Yeah,
but if you
yeah,
would have
yeah,
talked
yeah,
to me when it first happened,
yeah. No,
I'd be
but
saying,
how? Yeah,
yeah.
this is it.
So
This is the
that's
holy
all part
grail.
of the integration part.
Yeah,
Yeah, of what we're
this is
saying. So,
everything you ever
yeah.
wanted, and you know that everybody else is also looking for it
Hmm.
in whatever ways. If they look through alcohol, drugs, or work,
Yeah,
or money, or relationships, or whatever, this is, and I stand by that. This is it. This is really it. You don't need anything else if you have seen it. But there's also the realization that this drive to help people and to make sure they understand it, they get it. It's 100% coming from the personality,
that is coming from
because
personality.
effortless being has no,
It has no agenda. Yeah,
it's just no, 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 no.
it'll just
That is,
love. It's
yeah,
just gonna love everybody wherever they're at unconditionally. No judgment.
exactly.
You
Yeah,
could be wherever you want,
yeah,
wherever you're at, and it's
hmm,
okay.
yeah. And what I also had in the beginning, I also spoke to David about it.
Yeah.
That is the realization: you don't find the me, you don't find Rommy. It's
Hmm.
really not, it's not there. You do see things arising equally and effortlessly,
Hmm.
especially noises, sounds. This is always the best way in to notice and to see things that way. You feel immediate peace,
Hmm.
Satchitananda, this
Hmm.
loving to be, the peace of nothing wrong. Wonderful, it's happening. What I never was able to see is that other people also are this. So it was easy with objects, with plants, flowers, animals. People, it was difficult. That was really tricky. Um, and that one I have experienced the last couple of weeks, a month. This has settled as well. So now it's like both are seen, and I'm talking especially about low vibration encounters, right? So people that are already quite at peace, and they're just present and they're in the room. If they know or not that they are self-realized doesn't matter. That's not really the issue. That's fine. But
Hmm.
especially very anxious, stressed people,
Hmm.
disappointed people, victims, whatever else is going on, and they bring this certain energy into the room.
Yeah.
It was difficult to see.
Yes.
This is it. This is the same thing.
Understandably, totally understandably. Yeah.
Totally.
But you
And
can see through, you said you can see through, you're at the point now where you can see through that now and
yeah,
still
yeah, yeah, yeah.
see them in their
Yeah,
perfection.
there is just this realization that behind the form, the shape,
Hmm.
or within it, is the very same thing looking from that point of view. And just seeing that, realizing that, and just focusing on that for a second, like
Hmm.
there is this, looking from there,
Yeah.
it's the same thing. It
Unity.
immediately changes the chemistry and the dynamics of the
Yeah.
conversation with that person.
Yes.
That just happened to me at work yesterday. It was unbelievable. And it just sort of became quiet. And you kind of noticed that the other person's like, what's going on? I
Yeah.
don't know what, but there was a quite a tense situation. There was a bit of friction going on. Um, um, and it sort of immediately settled. There was this clarity without having to speak about it. I didn't say anything of there's nothing wrong with you. I accept you 100%. I know what you are. It's the same thing. And somehow the ego dropped.
Great.
And the only thing left was to talk about the actual fact at hand, the actual situation and how to solve it.
Perfect. We're right to the solution
It's
without all
just
the drama, the
incredible.
emotions.
Incredible. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that
Just
is
don't have
something
to
like
talk about it.
you're right, because when you see like if it's something easy in your experience, the higher vibration, somebody's fun, peaceful, just going through, no problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then like if someone's stressed out, they're anxious, or they're coming at
Yeah.
you, or there's this anger and all of that. Now all of a sudden that that you're saying that that's affecting you. But when you get to the point, as integration continues, you can kind of see through that. You can see through the personality and the
Yeah.
person. And like you said, what's coming out of those eyes and what's coming out of these eyes
Yeah.
is impersonal beingness, our true nature. So now you're connecting to unity consciousness,
Yeah.
where you unite as one, and you're seeing them as you from the perspective of the effortless being, not from the perspective of the personality person.
Yeah.
So that once you connect there, you can see them in their perfection. You can see them in their wellness. It's like I was talking to this one man, and he was suffering, and we were talking about suffering, and he had cancer and all of this, and the whole time I'm looking at him, like I'm looking at you right now, looking in his eyes, and the whole time I couldn't see his sickness. I couldn't see the suffering. I
Mm-hmm.
understood from the personality perspective because when I was like 18, I had cancer as well. Had 6 months of chemo, and I've been fine ever since. But so I can relate to people that are going through that, and so I know what the mind's telling them, and the thoughts, and what they're identified with, and previous to realizing what I truly am. I really thought that I was this person, Rob, who was suffering cancer and having all these problems. So it's really real. So you could see the heaviness on the man's
Yeah.
face, and the anxiety and the stress and everything. Like he was really believing, this that he was, this was all he was. He was just this body, and he was going through this sickness and the suffering. But I couldn't see. All I could see was the perfection in him. So I said to him, "I see you in your health. I see you in your wellness. I see you as happy." And he said to me, "Happy, Rob? I'm happy." And then he just started crying. Like I don't think he's ever had the realization that he was been so caught up in this mind dominance. Like, you're sick, you're going to die any minute, you're suffering, and the doctor's telling him all, and he's so absorbed in that he couldn't come from the space of what he truly is and see what he truly was. Maybe something clicked in the man, I don't know, but maybe just seeing people in their perfection, seeing them in their wellness, it does something to the, because it might wake them up to say, wait a second, somebody else, like a mirror, like seeing it, like almost like I'm,
Mm-hmm.
I'm I'm prodding you to wake up to what you truly are, so you can enjoy that peace, that healing.
Yeah.
And 'cause I see, but I know what you're saying. I see people like that now, like they say they have all these problems. Almost like I look at them as like, oh, you kind of playing a game, like I'm
Yeah.
like sort of like
Yeah.
consciousness
Yeah.
playing a game, because I know it's all consciousness. Like,
Yeah.
is this a game we're playing? Like this? Okay, was this you like this game?
Yeah.
Like I have
Yeah.
more fun games we can play. Like no, no, and I
Yeah.
don't mean to minimize, but I don't know if you know what I'm
Mm-mm.
saying. I'm just coming from that space where I like
Oh
like
yes.
I'm so sure of it. Like there's like a knowingness of it. It's like when you know
Yeah.
something, and
Mm-hmm.
I always say like the tooth fairy, like we used to tell our kids, like the tooth fairy's gonna come and you put the thing on your
Exactly like
pillow,
that.
you're gonna get
Yeah.
the thing. And it's like the same way when the people are or when these thoughts are coming, or people are saying these things, I kind of view it like that too, like Santa Claus or Tooth Fairy. I'm like, I mean, all right, it was fun in the beginning to believe. I guess it was fun, but
Yeah. Yeah.
but now it's just kind of like it takes the sizzle out of it. It takes the
Exactly.
emotion out of it. It's like,
Yeah.
'cause I only see you like I see everything as beautiful. I see the beauty in everything. So I don't know.
And
It's just that perspective.
it is an energetic thing.
Mhm.
Definitely. It's vibrational. And it also means the persons you're talking to don't have to know or understand anything about non-duality. They don't even have to be interested. And that's
Mhm.
a condition I thought was there in the beginning. I thought they need to know. They need to know what we're talking about, and then they may get it.
Mhm.
But actually, it could antagonize people if you would use your words to speak about it, or if
Right.
you would, if I would say someone, you really think you have that problem, you know, well, well, they really,
You
really,
might be antagonizing some people right now
you
listening
know,
to this.
exactly. But if you just listen to them talking about their problem from this space of knowing that there's nothing wrong at all,
Mhm.
they pick up on
You
it.
pick it up
And it's not
energetically, right? Is that
insulting.
what you're
It's
saying?
not
Yeah.
exactly, that's what I'm saying. It's
Yeah.
energetically. And
Yeah.
they just feel better. And I don't know why. But they also, the moment indeed the tooth fairy or Santa Claus, whatever, the moment you really don't believe in it anymore, you don't have to convince them that it doesn't exist.
Hmm.
It's just energetically so clear that you're not falling for it.
It's almost like it's ridiculous. Like,
Yes, but that awakens the same, it usually triggers the same sort of thing viscerally or energetically in the other person. They notice you're not getting tensed, you're not getting stressed, you're not reciprocating in the same sort of emotion, and you don't do it on purpose. It's not a deliberate thing. You're just resting as awareness. You're listening to the person. You cannot believe the problems because, yeah, you know,
you see through
right?
it. Yeah.
You see through it, and I think that's a beautiful gift without even having to tell anyone about non-duality.
Yeah,
I just
you can
noticed
just
that,
be present. You can just embody it and be present with it. And the silence, I was like say the silence can just heal through the like you
yeah,
said, the energetic exchange or just the frequency, I don't know, frequency holder,
yeah,
the energy of it, just
yeah,
being present with it.
yeah, exactly. And that's why also what I noticed inside myself in during integration, it's like you could say like a processor or like a computer
Hmm.
that doesn't use all these gigabytes of past and future worrying anymore. Because that really dissolves. That is just gone. If there's no person, if the I, the Rommy isn't there, it's just an innocent belief in the thought once in a while. It comes and goes. And you can't be something you think of sometimes and then you forget about it. That would be weird,
Yeah, that would be weird.
right? So it's impermanent by nature, therefore it's not you. And with that, past and future dissolve. They just fall away.
Hmm.
And with that, it almost feels like there's a huge amount of data, of gigabytes deleted from your processor. And that really frees up so much more energy capacity in whatever this is called, the brain, the intellect, that you can
I
use
know.
as a wonderful tool then. And yeah, those are just, I would say, real life or relevant real life experiences that do confirm that this works.
Yes.
And that is really something I would like to share because I can imagine, and not imagine, I know that integration can be tough.
Yeah.
It can be really, really, especially if it takes long
Right.
and you're holding on to this, okay, this too will pass, and you wake up in the morning and the first thing that's coming in is, okay, these are the problems of today. These are the people you will meet. This is everything are going to have to do. It can become tough, but
Yeah.
I can only say this stuff works. This is the real stuff. This is the real deal.
Hmm.
And if it's not possible in that very moment, do it 5 minutes later, 10 minutes later, and just see what's already unharmed, what's already always here, what never moves
Hmm.
ever.
Never.
Anything that happens just appears, and you could say it appears to entertain it with its antics.
I like that. It's
Yeah.
true. It's so
And
true.
exactly, see if it's true or not.
Yeah.
Just see if it's true or not.
See if it's
That's
true in your
all.
own experience. Yeah.
That's all. And if you feel contraction, know that this is not it. It's not true. It's probably the reverse that's going on.
Mhm.
And don't identify with it. Don't think now, you lost self-realization or something is off. It's not. Just know it's not real. If it's contraction, it's not real. It's
Hmm.
something trying to make you believe something in order to identify. And in my view, tries to feed on your energy.
Right.
I really do see it like a sort of predator in a way.
Demiurge. Demiurge, right? Yeah.
Yes, exactly, exactly. So wait and see, don't touch it. It has to pass. It's always impermanent. 100% of the time, it's impermanent.
True.
And then once it's gone, it's sometimes it's easier in that moment to check, okay, what am I again?
That's a
Don't
good way
be,
to do it. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, exactly. So yeah,
Yeah.
but it's an ever moving thing, the integration. It
Yeah.
keeps on developing for
Yeah.
sure. And it's
It's keeps going.
entertaining.
Yeah.
It's very nice.
Every
Yeah,
day I'm learning things. Yeah.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
great.
And also that is perfection again.
Yeah.
Again, the design is perfect. Because if it wouldn't progress, if it wouldn't develop, if it wouldn't do something, it would be really boring.
Yeah, it would. It's perfect. Everything's perfect the way it is.
Yeah.
It is. I wanted you to say something about the creative process because I know you're writing a book and just talk to me a little bit about the creative process, like, maybe before self-realization, now after, like, do you find anything in the creative process different or?
Yeah, I noticed after realization that indeed any act of creativity has always come from effortless being. That has never
Mm,
been the person. That
right.
was a nice one to
That is
discover.
a nice one. I love that.
That's a really nice one. And it's as simple as changing the furniture in your room.
Uh-huh.
I just remember when I was younger, or I just had my first apartment or whatever, or even as a child, I changed my bedroom. I put things somewhere else. I changed the plants. Already, these acts were creativity. And now, in hindsight, I can see it also felt like effortless being. You're not doing it to reach something, to get something. It's not stressful. It's not, there is no effort. It's just nice. You feel exactly what you need to do. You find the right place for everything, and you get this feeling, the sense of satisfaction.
Love
So
that.
that's an interesting discovery in hindsight. And the book only came after realization. So before there was no, I wasn't drawn to write a book. So this
Mhm.
came afterwards. Um, it was basically content wise, it was finished already, and I was already talking to a graphic designer. And then Stefan reached out to me, who's also on David Bingham's channel.
Uh-huh.
In the last
Yeah,
two
I saw
weeks, he
that.
had a conversation with him exactly.
Yeah.
But before he had a conversation with David, he saw the conversations I had previously, and he's a real expert in this. He really works in that branch as well.
Hmm.
And basically, what happened now is that we are doing developmental editing
Perfect.
to make sure it's also really a pleasurable read for people. So
Like an effortless
basically,
read, right? Like an effortless read. Yeah.
exactly,
Easy read. Yeah.
exactly. Yes, exactly. So what came out of me was just whatever came out what had to be written.
Yeah.
And those are also the most valuable things. They are timeless when you read them.
Yeah, I know.
And
You said
I am
I
not a
remember you sent
writer,
it over to me. You sent it over to me. I
Yeah,
read it. It was good.
exactly. Yeah,
So
so I'm not
that
an
was
editor,
that's
I'm
the
not a
basic
writer.
of the book. Yeah, the base, and then
It's
he's just making
exactly
it more easy to read, easy to
to make
read.
it a real journey, to
Yeah,
have transitions
yeah,
yeah, well, that there was so many things he said that totally resonated with me, and that were like, this is the missing piece. This is what I was waiting for.
oh,
And when
great.
I received the email, the first thought I had, here you are.
That's
Like,
beautiful.
I didn't even know who he was. I had never heard of him. I immediately gave him the login. I gave him the document because I knew
See,
this is it. I was
yeah,
waiting for him.
it's synchronicity. It's almost like effortless
Yes,
being brings it right in. Synchronicities
yes,
just line
no
up
doubt.
when you get out of
Yeah,
the way and just let it flow.
yeah,
That creative process,
yeah,
like you said, the whole
exactly.
time it's been effortless being's been doing it.
Yes,
And when you recognize
100%.
that, you could just let it flow and you could trust.
Exactly. Yeah. So now the publishing will take a few more weeks,
Oh,
but the product will be much better.
I'm sure.
So,
I'm looking
so
forward to
yeah,
it.
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
definitely gonna get it. Did you
yeah.
keep the name of the book the same or
Yes, yeah. It's peace at last.
you said
That's
last? Okay.
absolutely still the same. Peace at last. Exactly. But yeah, to make it be a bit really like a smooth journey throughout, you know.
Yeah.
So that's what we will work on. And
Yeah, I had a book come out
yeah,
too. Infinite Being came out last week. It was my second book. David wrote the forward for that. That's been doing pretty good too. It's just like the creative process and that whole thing. It's like there's no agenda to it. There's no attachment to it. It
no,
just kind of,
no,
I just flowed through and I just, people, it's just like having conversations like this that we're having
yeah,
and just putting it into a book, I guess, and just
exactly. Yeah.
You know, if people get clarity out of it, if one person gets value, even just for myself, just writing it was good because it almost like reimpresses what
Yeah.
I know. Like it was a
Yes,
joy and
exactly.
just doing it
Yeah.
was a fun thing, and it was really felt easy and effortless to do.
Yeah.
And
And
just
can I
like
ask,
having these conversations.
are you publishing only digital or also hardcover and soft cover
No, I'm
for
doing
now?
soft. I did doing soft cover,
Okay.
and I did the Kindle version,
Yeah. Okay.
and the first book, Awakening to Effortless Being, that
Hmm.
one just came out on Audible like
Oh
two
yeah.
weeks 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
It
Okay.
came. It wasn't my voice. It was somebody that I used. That one came about effortlessly too. I don't know how that works. And they went and did it. And so there's one on Audible. I don't know if I'm going to do this next one on Audible. And I'll just see whatever
Yeah.
comes up.
Let's just see what however it
Yeah, I
happens.
don't really plan it. I just
Yeah.
kind of
No.
I just see what's going to be brought to me. Like, if this feels like the next logical step, if it feels
Exactly.
easy and effort, if it's going to be like all this work and drama, if it feels like that, I'm like, yeah, I'm
No.
out.
Immediate stop. Yeah.
But yeah, but everything's just been flowing pretty cool. I just have a lot of
Yeah.
fun with this whole thing, and just every day amazes me, and I don't know what's going to happen next, which I kind of like.
Isn't it amazing?
Yeah, even with like these interviews of people that I've been interviewing, like I'm talking to someone, some from David's channel, and then other ones just get just sent over to me that I talk to, and then
Mm.
there's just people that are listening to the channel that call
Yeah.
up that are
Yeah.
seekers, and there's people from the books contacting me. I don't know. It's just been fun. It's just I couldn't orchestrate any of this. It's just like it's almost like there's an infinite intelligence or just orchestrating these things, and it's just happening, and I don't know, I'm along for the ride, I guess. I don't know. But just like speaking through, you just got to get out of the way and just let it all happen. And it's been a
Yeah.
fun ride so far.
It
So
is
far,
right. Yeah.
yeah, it's been
Yeah.
pretty
It's
cool.
coming from there's nothing to do. So if it's coming from there, it's good.
Yeah, it's not because I'm already home. I don't need anything. I'm not attached to
Yeah.
anything. It's like like you said earlier, like I guess maybe the biggest thing for me with the integration thing was like, because we're so attached. I'm like attached to my girls, my daughter, like very attached to family.
Mm.
You know, that's always the thing. And like I could see that tendency coming up. Like I want to just like tell them like because I want them to be happy and I want them to know the truth. So you almost like want to like grab them and do it, but like so you like, but now I like see through. It's like you just kind of just be patient and relax and life will happen when it happens and everything
Yeah.
is fine anyway, so just let it all flow through and it'll happen when it happens, and I'm okay with that, so I'm at peace with that, I should say.
Hmm. Yeah.
So just making peace with what is, I think, is the biggest thing with this whole thing, and integrating and just the day-to-day life is just I don't know, the biggest thing is just helping people to relax. It's okay, everything's being taken care of. It's all happening at the right time, and there's really nothing wrong. Like when you come from the place I believe, there's nothing wrong anymore.
No.
Everything's cool. It's like and I know I use those words, heaven on earth, and I mean when I'm saying it, I'm not kidding. Like it really
No.
is.
No.
It's like
It
I
is
know
really
you
true.
people looking like, yeah, right, but no, I'm serious. Like it really is.
This
Like
is
once you
true.
see through it, I'm not
Yeah.
saying that you don't that there's not problems that arise, or I'm not saying that there's experiences, where this energy of depression might come or sadness might come, like, or if there's sickness in the body that you don't feel the pain,
Sure.
or I'm not saying that, but what I'm saying is I've given up the resistance to it.
Hmm.
Okay. So the
Correct.
resistance, when you start resisting what is, that's where the suffering comes in. So all I'm saying now is just that I just let the resistance go and just let it flow and let the effortless being take care of it. So there's a trust in it. It's almost like if somebody tells you the truth a million times, am I suddenly going to doubt them on the millionth and first time? No, because I can just know what this is. And there's like a knowingness to it. And once you see that, it's all being taken care of, everything's happening automatically. I mean, I just even think of my heart beating automatically, the breath happening
Yeah.
automatically.
Check it
And
right
it's
now.
always, yeah, and it's always
That's
been
how it
that
is.
way. So
Yeah.
what's the
That's true.
problem? Like, I
Yeah.
don't know. Like, it's
That's
pretty good.
right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So might not just,
Yeah, but I'm sorry. I did have a hard stop today at
oh, that's right,
four,
you
really.
do.
So I needed to go somewhere to
So nice
travel.
chatting with you.
So sorry, but yeah,
No,
fantastic. I could
yeah.
go on for hours,
I look
really.
forward to your book and I'll be on the lookout for that and
Yeah,
we'll do that.
definitely, definitely. It was
Sounds
great
good.
to talk to you again.
Yes.
Wonderful.
Yes.
All
Much
right,
joy.
let's keep in touch.
We'll keep in touch.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good
Thank
day.
you. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
You too. Bye.
Bye.